Happy Tuesday and happy election day to those of you here in the U.S. Welcome to Stellar Parenting with Brandi Kahn. I am your host, Brandi. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. And I'm super passionate about teaching parents, teachers, and guardians how to combine the magic of the stars with the art of consciously raising our children. You can find me online at brandikahn.com. That's Brandi with an I, and Kahn is Khan. And if you'd love to be a caller on the show, you want to come on for a free astrology reading, join my Facebook group, Psychology Infused Astrology, and sign up on the list. I'd love to hear from you all. So today we've got some exciting things happening. We will talk about the transits for this week, and we will also do our weekly segment of In the Spotlight. But there's a twist today. In honor of Election Day, we will be looking at the natal moon of both presidential candidates, Donald Trump as well as Kamala Harris, to get a little bit of a deeper understanding of both of them as an individual. And if you'd like to call in either for a free tarot reading or astrology reading, please call in. I will be taking a caller towards the end of the show. I'd love to hear from you. So let's get started. We've had a lot of big things happening this week. Sunday, we had 3 major things going on within the planets, and we will be talking about that today. So Sunday, we had that Mars opposition to Pluto come exact, okay? And that was on November 3rd. That transit is all about power dynamics. It can really be a big indicator of power struggles, not only in our own individual lives, but in the collective at large, okay? So, and it's interesting that we've got this transit at the same time as the election here in the United States. It's a very intense aspect. You could feel very strong emotion with, the energy of Mars and Pluto. You might feel a little bit of tension. There might be confrontation. There might be conflict. And those may be feelings welling up within you, but not only within you, but you might find that other people are directing their emotions at you in those ways. So it's very important right now that you really understand what's going on with the energy, because understanding is like a superpower in a way. Understanding allows you to be able to step back from a situation without being pulled into the fray. So when you understand what's going on, you're a little bit less likely to be used as a pawn in someone else's game. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind, especially even though the transit went exact on Sunday. For the next 2 weeks, please keep this in mind with this energy. Also on Sunday, November the 3rd, we had Mars move into the sign of Leo. So think about Mars. Mars is a fiery planet. And when we put this fiery planet in the fire sign of Leo, Mars is very happy. He works very well within the sign of Leo. So take advantage of the energy of Mars and Leo, especially if you have Leo placements or any fire sign placements that are also benefiting from Mars being in Leo. And if you're motivated to take action in a particular area of your life, feel free to go for it. Use that wonderful energy to your advantage. Also on Sunday, November 3rd, we had Venus opposing Jupiter. So we're still feeling this, okay? So Venus in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter in Gemini. Now, so this will really be a feel-good transit for the most part, an enjoyable transit. The only thing that you want to watch out for, you want to be careful if you have a tendency to overdo something. Like, so to overdo the good things, and that can be overeating, overspending, oversleeping, over socializing, spending too much time on social media, anything that feels good. We want to make sure right now that we are in balance with our approach and not to overdo it in a detrimental way. Yesterday, November 4th, Sun 12 degrees Scorpio, trining Saturn 12 degrees of Pisces, and we're still feeling this right now. It's an absolutely excellent transit for nailing down your long-term goals, okay? So you might feel drawn right now to take more of a grounded or practical approach when it comes to meeting your goals or things that you've been planning for a long time. And with this transit, I want you to use this to your benefit. Use this energy to your benefit. So I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be in 10 to 20 years? Who do I want to be? And when you're asking yourself that question, I want you to think about, who do you want to be socially? Who do you want to be professionally? Who do you want to be emotionally, financially, physically? What do you want your life to look like? Where do you want to be? Once you determine that, you get a really good sense of it, figure out what type of habits you need to instill in order to reach the place that you want to be down the road. What is it that you need to do right now? And keep in mind, all of your power lies within the present moment, within this moment, because the choices that you make today will determine who you are tomorrow. So use this wonderful energy of Saturn trining the sun and figure out, what is it that I need to do to get to that next level, to be that next version of me. And, even if it's instilling a daily habit that might seem so monotonous and so boring, realize that down the road, that habit will get you closer to your goals and to who you want to be. Okay, so that's the main energy this week as far as the transits. Make sure, that you're using everything to your benefit, that you're using the energy intentionally, and that you're using it consciously to shape and to create a better future for yourself. Now, as we move into In the Spotlight, I'm so excited about this. I'm excited about doing Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. So I'm going to be taking a very objective approach to this segment, to both Trump's chart and Kamala Harris's chart when we're looking at their moons. I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to bash anyone. The only intention when I use astrology is really to understand, because I feel that within understanding someone else, it's much more likely that I'm able to have a sense of compassion for them instead of a sense of judgment. Okay? So keep that in mind as we're listening to, the traits, characteristics of both Trump's moon and Kamala Harris's moon. So what's interesting, I found it so interesting, both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, they were both born during full moons. Okay. And usually people born under a full moon, they tend to have passion, be very passionate about what they believe in. They tend to be very comfortable when it comes to being in the spotlight, being visible, being seen by others. And they tend to be very confident as well, and have quite a bit of leadership potential. Okay. So when we look at Donald Trump's moon in the sign of Sagittarius, it's in his fourth house of home and family. Now, remember, the moon is about our feelings, our emotions, what brings us safety, what makes us feel comforted. So when we're talking about his moon, the moon is in the fire sign of Sagittarius for Donald Trump. So moon and fire signs, those are the people that usually have really fiery emotions. The emotions can be quite strong, can be quite intense, and they tend to be very passionate about what they feel and how they express their feelings. And Donald Trump, Sagittarius, it's a mutable sign. So flexibility is something that's probably very important for him. He probably really values having a sense of freedom and independence and not feeling restricted, not feeling like he's got to follow a script all the time, which we've seen that in his rallies. It's hard for him to follow a script. He tends to kind of want to, have his freedom to say whatever he wants to say in that moment. He may also feel or get a sense of emotional safety when it comes to traveling. Usually people, Moon in Sagittarius, travel is something that's really big for them. They enjoy traveling. They enjoy learning about other people. They enjoy learning about other cultures, okay? And his home, another way this could manifest for him is his home might be decorated with items that he has accumulated from his travels all over the world. Okay. Now, what's interesting about Donald Trump's moon in Sagittarius, the ruler of his moon is going to be Jupiter in the sign of Libra in his second house of money, possessions, and what I value, what he values. So, with Jupiter being in the second house, one of the things that's going to give Donald Trump a deep sense of emotional security and a deep sense of safety is having a lot of money in the bank. Okay, lots of money in the bank. And this might be why, from what we've seen of him, why there's been such an emphasis on money and on finances, because that's a part of his psyche. That's how he's wired, where money really, having a lot of money gives me a sense of being safe. Okay. Now, in astrology, the moon can also represent the mother. And with Trump's moon in the fourth house, I feel like that this is significant not only about his mother, but also the mothers of his children as well. So let's take a look at both. With moon in Sagittarius, one way that this can show up or manifest is having a mom that was born in a country that's different than the one that you were born in. So Trump was born here in the US. His mother actually was born in the UK. So she was not born here in the US. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. But then not only that, if we look at his wives, okay, his first wife, Ivana, she was Czech. She was not born here in the US. And his current wife, Melania, was born in Russia. And I really, when I see correlations in the life of an individual with what shows up in their chart, I think it's the most amazing thing. So I really was interested or pleased to see that in his chart and how it shows up in his life. Now, at his best, Donald Trump is meant to be optimistic. He's meant to be inspirational at his very, very best. That's the best of the moon in Sagittarius, okay? And Sagittarius is the sign of the teacher or the preacher, okay? So you've probably seen how he seems to come alive when he's center stage behind a microphone. When he's center stage, he's got a mic and there's a lot of people, a large crowd around him that wants to listen to him. It probably feeds him on a very deep emotional level to be able to have that type of influence. Now, when we're talking about Sagittarius moon, remember, there can be a shadow side to the moon in this placement as well. So the shadow side of the moon in Sag, people with this, they could be a little bit reckless, or they may tend to overlook details because they're so concerned about the bigger picture. They can also be impulsive in the things that they do and impulsive in the things that they say. People with strong Sag placements usually get a bad rap sometimes for not having a filter, and expressing things in a way that comes across as offensive to other people. So, that's the shadow side of the Sag moon. Also, another part of that as well is with Sag moon, a lot of times their truth, their perspective, they feel that that's the universal truth and universal perspective. And if someone doesn't agree, then the other person's perspective is not quite valid. So I thought that was really interesting about Donald Trump's moon. Let's take a look at the moon for Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris was born with her moon at 27 degrees in the sign of Aries in the 11th house of friends, groups, and organizations. And, with her moon in that fire sign of Aries, more than likely she's going to express herself quite openly, directly, and with passion, okay? And there's a strong need with Aries, just like Sagittarius with Donald Trump, there's a strong need for freedom and independence. Those tend to be key features for both people. Now, Aries is a cardinal sign. So cardinal signs, it's very important for them to initiate and to lead. They want to feel like they are blazing a trail, not like they are following in anyone else's footsteps. Okay. And Aries is ruled by Mars. And when we take a look at Kamala Harris's Mars, it's in the sign of Leo in the third house. So she can be very driven when it comes to communicating her beliefs and her perspectives. And it's easy for her to charge ahead and go after what she wants. Now, also with that Mars and Leo, keep in mind, Leo is the sign of leadership. So leadership is probably something that resonates for her on a very deep emotional level. And when we talk about her mother, because Moon represents mom as well, Shamala Harris, her mom came to the US from India at 19 years of age. And Kamala Harris says that her mother taught her to have courage and determination. Those are literally key words when it comes to Aries. So it's almost like her mom really embodied the traits of the Aries moon. And Aries has the archetype of the warrior, the person who's in pursuit of justice, the person who's in pursuit of truth. So it's no coincidence that Kamala Harris spent part of her career as a prosecutor fighting for her ideals. That's literally Aries. Okay. So, and when she feels like she's fighting the good fight, she probably feels a high level of emotional fulfillment. It probably feeds her moon. And it's interesting if you listen to her words. I was listening to the news this morning. They were playing clips from, I think, her closing rally last night. And several times in the clips, I noticed that she used the word fight. Okay. And one of her slogans is, when we fight, we win. I mean, you couldn't write a better script for Aries. That totally reflects her moon in the sign of Aries. Now, the shadow side of Aries moon is sometimes these people get really frustrated. It's easy for them to get frustrated. It's easy for them to feel flustered, or easy for them to feel angry. And they might tend to be very impatient at times, or impulsive. Also, they can be very headstrong when it comes to if they feel like that they are being made to do something that they don't agree with. All right. So that's all for the moon in Aries. It's interesting how it shows up for both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And no matter who you are voting for, I encourage you just to think about the people on the other side, the people who are on a different side than what you believe or what you're voting for. Please view them as your brothers and sisters. We all need a sense of unity here. We all need to come together here under one common goal, and view each other as collaborators rather than as enemies. Okay. So I leave that with you all, and I hopefully that you enjoyed this today, our little swerve due to Election Day, and it's time for us to take a caller. So we will have a caller. I think it's Mel. Do we have Mel on?
Yes, you do. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just want to say it's so nice. I've been watching you guys. Oh, my God. I have to say over 15 years. And it's nice to see that you guys are still going and strong.
Wonderful. Oh, well, thank you so much, Mel. And it's wonderful to have you on today. Would you like an astrology reading or tarot?
I'd like a tarot if I can do that.
Sure. Yeah, we can do a tarot. Do a tarot spread for you. And yeah, is there any area in particular that you want me to focus on? Or is it just general?
Yes.
You just want to know what comes up?
I want to focus on what I just dealt with in the past and in the present to see if I'm going in the right direction.
Okay. All right. So let's see what comes up for you. Let's see.
Thank you so much, honey.
Yeah, of course. And you're in New York, correct?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Getting ready for this election to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think everybody is. Okay.
They turned it into a soap opera. It's actually fun to watch.
Yeah. All righty, Mel. Here we go. Let me see. We want to know what's showing up for Mel. What's showing up for Mel? What's showing up for Mel? Show us. Okay. Okay. Tell me when to stop.
All right, let's see. Right there.
Okay. Okay. All righty. So I know that you're talking about the present and the past. And what I'm seeing right now, the card that comes up for me about, something that's going on. I do have the Seven of Wands, which usually comes up if someone is having to fight for something or they feel like they've got to stand their ground, that there's something that
Hmm.
they're trying to defend. Would that make sense to you?
Completely.
Oh, okay, good, good. And the challenge with that, though, we have the Queen of Swords as the challenge card. So there's this energy right now with you. I feel a push and pull, almost like I'm trying to stand my ground. I don't want to let people cross my boundaries, but I'm having a hard time, or maybe it's hard for me sometimes to do that in a diplomatic way. How exactly do I do this in a way that's constructive? Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. Go on.
Okay, great, great. Okay. And I'm wondering right now, so for your personal power card right now, I've got the Hierophant. Usually this will show up like if someone is in school, if there's something with a traditional institution that's going on as far as marriage, school, university, working as clergy. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yes, and not immediately myself, but within my family line, my immediate family
Okay.
line. Yes.
Okay. 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 Very good. Right now, are you going through a period of time right now where it kind of feels as if my beliefs, what I grew up believing, it's kind of transforming or shifting in some way, almost like I'm reshaping my beliefs?
Oh, yes, all the way around.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Then that's what the Hierophant is. I know that here for over the next 2 weeks, I do have the Judgment card. Now, with the Judgment card, there's this sense here. What I'm feeling for you is um, something that you've put in motion, something that you've done over the next
Hmm.
couple of weeks, almost is like there's this sense of acknowledgement for it. You receive validation for it. So it feels
Yeah.
like I've been doing something, but nobody has really noticed or nobody has acknowledged. And I'm like, okay, well, so what's going on? Is this ever going to be acknowledged? Does that make sense?
Yes, we're actually in the process of it hasn't been put out there yet, so I'm going to keep my mouth quiet. But we started
Okay.
working tonight, and you're giving me confirmation that it's a go.
Awesome. Okay, good, good. And I know over the next month, we do have the Seven of Cups. Now, with the Seven
Hmm.
of Cups, there's a lot of options at play here. Okay. So
Hmm.
it does feel as if over the next 4 weeks, there's a door or a path that opens to you. And before you step through that door, you really want to make sure that you figure out, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish? What is it that I need? Where do I want to end up? There's all of these different options that you can pick from, but there's going to be a
Hmm.
higher probability of success if you can be focused on what you want instead of, let me try
Gotcha.
this. No, I'm going to shift over there. No, well, I'll try
Oh,
that
that's
over
me
there.
in a nutshell.
Oh, okay.
That's me in a
Okay.
nutshell.
Okay, good. Yes. So I want you to make sure that you're manifesting with intention. Okay. Focus on what you
Okay.
want, focus on what's important. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the outside influence, there's hope and healing. It does feel as if you've been something, I would say within the last 2 years, it does feel as if the last 2 years have been a struggle or a
Yes.
challenge. And now you're
Yes.
on the upside with hope and healing. That makes sense?
1,000%. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a big part of who you are right now because it does seem almost as if 2 years ago I was a completely different individual, and now
Oh,
on
yeah.
the other side of all of this, I've done a lot of healing and completely transformed myself.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
100% on point.
yeah,
Yes.
and I know that what you're wanting, you're hoping that it comes very quickly. I do have the Eight of Wands. This usually is
Hmm.
like, yes, something happening very quickly. I know this is what you want because it comes up in the position of what I want. Now, the answer card that I have here is the Ten of Cups. This is one of my favorite cards. The 10 is about completion and finally having what it is that we want, like as far as love, relationships,
Oh, I got to
family.
stop you. I love you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah,
All right. I'm
does
sorry
this
about
make
that.
sense? Yeah, oh, that's okay. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Great, great. And I know that as I'm looking at this card, I'm really drawn to the rainbow. And the feeling is almost that, gosh, there's been a lot of heartache, heartbreak,
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
tears, and now the sun is finally shining again, and there's a rainbow that's there. Okay, so I know that for
Amen.
me, I'm drawn to the rainbow in that card. There's like this whole thing about the promise for a better tomorrow for you, the promise of
Hmm.
hope. Okay, so always carry that hope forward. You understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, I
Good.
do.
Yeah. Now, the outcome of the situation, we do have the Two of Pentacles. And with the Two of Pentacles, this card usually shows up when there's a need for making sure that we stay not only financially balanced, but also emotionally as well. So
Okay.
you might want to put something in place as you're making all of these plans where we're taking a financial approach that's fairly consistent and balanced. Okay.
Okay.
Making sure that we do that. And also, as well, I'm looking at the waves of water there in the back. Whatever it is that you can do to make sure as well that your emotions stay or have a sense of balance, like from day to day, whether it's meditation, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's, whatever it may be that speaks to your soul, balance
Hmm.
is the key here. So, especially over the next month, one of the things that I want you to focus on is taking a balanced approach. Okay, Mel?
Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we are almost
Wow.
out of time, but thank you so
I
much for joining.
I think you just made my whole night.
Oh, well, you made my day. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
calling. Thanks for being a wonderful sitter.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a great night, sweetie.
Yeah, you too. You too. All right. Thank you for joining me for another week of Stellar Parenting with Brandi. I've enjoyed having you here today. Please join me next week. And remember, let's all try. We've got the election to come together. Let's have a sense of love. Let's have a sense of unity for everyone, not just for the people who agree with us, not just for the people who believe like us, but for everyone. Okay. And that's something that I want you to carry forward consciously and intentionally into your week this week. Have a great day.